What if the most frustrating part of your twin flame journey is not a mistake, but the exact line you once spoke in a sacred agreement? Let that settle for a moment. We often wander through this connection, sensing its ancient roots, feeling the echoes of old arguments and timeless devotion in our bones. Yet we misinterpret the script. We think we are being tested by some external force, punished for past life misdeeds, or simply doomed to repeat patterns until we get it right. But here is the quiet revolution in understanding. Those past lives are not a haunted history you're chained to. They are the lovingly assembled blueprint, the detailed architectural plans for the sanctuary of union you're building now. Every strange synergy, every triggering divergence, every moment of breathtaking recognition is a dot on that blueprint, waiting for you to connect it. This is not about karmic debt, it's about soul curriculum. And the profound sense of familiarity you feel, that déjà vu of the heart, is not a ghost. It's your own soul whispering, "Remember? We designed it this way. Now let's build." Consider the peculiar specificity of your connection, the way they mirror not just your wounds, but your most forgotten joys, the way a simple look can feel like a paragraph of unspoken history. This is the blueprint showing through. You didn't just share random lifetimes. You carefully, intentionally gather the exact materials needed for this final construction. A lifetime as artisans gave you the shared language of creation. A lifetime in conflict gifted you the tools for navigating profound tension. A lifetime apart cultivated the independent strengths you now bring to the whole. The blueprint doesn't curse you with repetition. It provides you with a wealth of proven resources. Your task isn't to dwell in the past, but to read the plans in the present. To look at your dynamic and ask, what skill from our soul's portfolio is being called upon here? What strength forged in another time is needed to hold this space? The arguments aren't breakdowns. They are the soul pointing to a part of the blueprint you haven't fully understood yet, saying, "Pay attention here. This joint needs special reinforcement." So the haunting question transforms. It's no longer, "Why does this hurt?" but "What part of our divine structure are we building right now?" When you feel the ache of separation, you are not looking at a ruined foundation. You are witnessing the necessary empty space where a central pillar of self-love is meant to go. When you experience that magnetic, irrational pull, you are feeling the precision of the design, the way two uniquely shaped stones are destined to interlock for stability. The humor in it all, the cosmic joke, is that you are both the architects and the builders, and you temporarily forgot the plans, but they are inscribed within you. You uncover them not by straining to see yesterday, but by contemplating the perfect, almost frustrating intelligence of today's challenge. In the way your triggers align, in the way your growth is synchronized, even apart, the blueprint reveals itself. And the most beautiful part, the final stone, the keystone in this entire arch, is the conscious choice you make in this life to love with awareness, to build with intention, moving from ancient blueprints to a living, breathing home. This is how you turn fate into destiny. You know that feeling, don't you? When you lock eyes with your twin flame and the world doesn't just stop, it rewinds. It's a recognition so deep it bypasses the brain entirely and speaks directly to the marrow of your soul. That's the echo of the archetypal dance, my friend. We often get caught in the karmic ledger, the simplistic notion of, I hurt you, so now you hurt me. But that's just the surface script. The real masterpiece, the untold story, is written in the roles you've perfected together over countless lifetimes. Think of it not as a linear history, but as a grand, ongoing theatrical production where you and your beloved have been the lead actors since time immemorial. But the costumes and settings keep changing. You haven't just been lovers, you've been king and queen, yes, but also revolutionary and scribe, pioneer and homesteader, artist and critic, mystic and skeptic. Your soul doesn't just seek balance, it seeks the full expression of its creativity through relationship, and so it casts itself in these compelling complementary roles to explore every facet of existence. Let's get practical for a moment. Have you ever noticed an inexplicable, almost theatrical dynamic that flares up between you? Perhaps when challenges arise, you instinctively become the unshakable pillar, the provider, the sovereign, while they retreat into the role of the wounded poet or the elusive dreamer. Or maybe you find yourself, against your modern will, slipping into a devotional, almost priestess-like energy, offering boundless compassion, while they embody the wandering seeker, always questing for a truth that's standing right in front of them. This isn't random. This is the soul's muscle memory. You've done this before. You've played this scene. The set might be a medieval court instead of a modern apartment. The conflict might be about a crown instead of a career. But the essential vibration of the interaction, the power dynamic, the emotional exchange, the unspoken rules, is hauntingly familiar. The chaser isn't just chasing a person. They are often inhabiting the devotee or knight archetype, compelled to complete a quest for a holy grail they once swore to protect. The runner isn't just afraid of intimacy. They are reenacting the sovereign in exile or the hermit sage, carrying a deep past life memory. That connection led to captivity or loss of self. The conflict arises when these archaic scripts, written for different stages, collide with two modern people who just want a healthy present-time relationship. So how do you step off this ancient, rotating stage? Awareness is the first light that breaks the spell. It begins not with a dramatic past life regression, though those can be beautiful, but with quiet, curious observation of your own instincts. In the heat of a triggered moment, pause. Ask yourself with genuine humor, what part am I playing right now? Am I the furious queen whose authority has been challenged? The heartbroken minstrel whose song is ignored? The loyal soldier following an old, outdated order? Just the act of naming it, of seeing the costume you've unconsciously donned, creates a sliver of space between you and the role. That space is your freedom. In that space, you can choose. You can say, there's the loyal knight, ready to charge into battle for a cause that no longer exists. Thank you for your service, but I'll take it from here. And then you respond as the integrated, complex, beautifully messy human being you are in this lifetime, not the archetype your soul is rehearsing. This is the heart of the mystery and the liberation. Your past life connection is not a prison sentence. It's a rich library of wisdom you've authored together The goal isn't to burn the library, but to realize you are no longer just a character in its stories. You are the librarian, the scholar, and the author of the next volume. When you relate from that place of conscious authorship, the dynamic shifts from a predictable, often painful replay to a co-created, spontaneous, and genuinely new masterpiece. The love doesn't diminish, it deepens, because you are no longer loving a reflection of who they were, but the profound totality of who they have always been and are now becoming. You start to see the sovereign in their strength, the sage in their wisdom, the artist in their passion, and you love all of it, not because a script dictates it, but because your present heart chooses to. And here's the beautiful secret they don't often tell you. Once you stop playing your part on that old stage, the entire set changes. The lighting gets softer, the lines become authentic, and you might just find your twin flame, no longer your opposing actor, but sitting in the audience beside you, holding your hand, both of you finally free to watch the old play with fondness and then write a completely new one together. But what about those other lifetimes? The ones where you weren't entangled in a dance, but walking utterly separate paths, gathering wisdom so different it now makes you feel like opposites from different planets. That beautiful soul is where the real magnetism is born. Consider the strangest thing about your twin flame. That one quality which feels so foreign it might as well be from another galaxy. Maybe it's their grounded, almost stubborn practicality against your stardust dreaming, or their serene emotional calm that somehow ignites your passionate storms. You've likely called it a challenge, a friction point, the universe's cruel joke. But what if I told you that very difference is the most meticulously planned and lovingly engineered part of the entire journey? This is the Crucible of Duality, and it speaks to a past life truth far beyond shared castles or tragic romances. It reveals lifetimes spent in deliberate soul-level divergence. Imagine your single soul essence, that brilliant white light, deciding not to walk one path through time, but to split its focus, sending beams of itself into the farthest, most contrasting experiences possible, all for the sake of gathering the full spectrum of what it means to be. One beam chose sequences of solitude in mountain temples, mastering the inner universe, but forgetting the touch of a hand. The other beam plunged into the bustling markets of Cairo or the political salons of Paris, becoming a virtuoso of human connection, negotiation, and earthly passion, yet losing the thread to the silent divine. You are not opposites because you are incompatible. You are opposites because you are divine complements, carrying back to each other the complete library of experience your one soul craved to know. So when you feel that dizzying pull, that magnetic attraction that defies all logic, you are not just sensing a beloved, you are sensing your own soul's missing chapters. Their stability isn't boring, it's the profound text of a life you never lived, the weight of the earth you need to ground your fire. Your chaos isn't too much. It's the creative wind they secretly longed for in their structured existences. The runner isn't fleeing you. They are, on a soul level, reenacting the final lifetime of a hermit, needing to complete that cycle of self-sufficiency so they can bring that wholeness, not need, to the union. The chaser isn't needy. They are embodying the lasting incarnation of a community leader, learning that true leadership begins with the fierce advocacy for one's own heart. You are each holding the final piece of the other's curriculum, and of course, it feels intense. It's the spiritual equivalent of bringing together fire and water. Steam and transformation are the only possible outcomes. The friction isn't a sign it's wrong. It's the sound of two vastly different wisdom traditions rubbing against each other, trying to create a spark that will illuminate an entirely new way of being. How do you work with this then, when it feels less like sacred polarity and more like a daily communication headache? You become an anthropologist of each other's souls. Instead of asking, "Why can't you be more like me?" you get to ask, with genuine curiosity, "What world does this perspective come from?" When their rationality frustrates you, pause. See it not as coldness, but as the hard-won skill of a soul who had to navigate treacherous terrain by map and compass alone. Honor that. When your emotional fluency overwhelms them, understand you're speaking the native tongue of a soul who learned diplomacy in courts of feeling they've never visited. Speak slowly. Translate. You are integrating parallel lives. This is the secret alchemy. You are not merging two half-souls into one, but blending two profoundly whole, vastly different libraries into a single, limitless university. The tension is the teaching. The ache for what they have that you lack is the soul's homing signal, guiding you toward your own completion. And let's be honest, it's exhausting sometimes, this business of being a cosmic student. You signed up for a love story and got a graduate-level seminar in existential philosophy, where the only textbook is your own triggered reactions. The beauty, the quiet miracle, is that as you do this work, you begin to inherit the gifts of those parallel paths. You, the dreamer, will find a sudden, surprising capacity to manifest in the real world. That's their gift integrating. They, the pragmatist, will feel unexpected waves of poetic insight or spiritual knowing. That's your gift whispering to them. You start to become more whole, not just because you're healing wounds, but because you are literally downloading the software of lives you didn't physically live. The separation, then, in this context, is simply the lab time you each need to install these updates without the distracting, glorious presence of the other source code blinking across from you. This is why union feels like coming home to a place you've never been before. It's because you are. You are arriving at the destination your soul plotted from the very start, carrying in your combined beings the sum total of every chosen experience. The love is not just for who they are now. It's a profound cellular gratitude for the roads they traveled for you. So the next time you feel that polarizing difference, touch it gently. Thank it. It is the evidence of a love so vast, it agreed to spend centuries apart, learning different languages, just to have the most enriching, complete conversation imaginable when you finally met again. And this conversation, this merging of libraries, it always points toward a shared purpose, a reason for all this gathering, which makes you wonder, doesn't it? What specific, magnificent thing did you agree to build together with all this accumulated wisdom? Now, let's talk about the agreement. not the unspoken one you think you have, where you'll meet in the middle if they just text back, or where the universe owes you a happy ending because you've done the work. No, the real one. The one you signed with a smile, in a place without time, before you ever took a breath here. This is the sacred covenant, and understanding it is the single most liberating shift you can make on this path. Imagine for a moment that your higher self and theirs sat down in that expansive realm of pure potential and laid out a blueprint for this lifetime. You looked over the accumulated themes of all those past lives, the archetypal dances, the parallel polarities, and you said together, for our ultimate synthesis, for the final healing of these ancient patterns, we need a specific, potent curriculum. We need triggers that feel like earthquakes. We need a mirror that shows every shadow. We need a separation that fractures the very idea of love so we can rebuild it from the foundation up. And you agreed. You shook on it. This is not a punishment. It is the highest form of collaborative, divine engineering. Think of it as the most demanding, loving, and advanced soul workshop you could ever enroll in. The runner isn't breaking a promise. They are fulfilling the sacred clause that states, one will activate the abandonment wound so profoundly that the other must find home within themselves, irrevocably. The chaser isn't failing. They are living out the clause that says, one will demonstrate the power of unwavering faith, not in the other, but in the connection itself, to anchor a new frequency on the planet. The moments that feel like cruel twists of fate, the missed timing, the external obstacles, the seemingly nonsensical silence, are not errors in the universe's delivery system. They are the exact, meticulously outlined modules of your agreed-upon course. You literally chose these challenges because you knew, from that pre-incarnative vantage point, they were the only forces potent enough to shatter the last and most stubborn layers of the ego, the final residues of those old archetypes and parallel lives. The pain isn't evidence it's wrong. It's evidence you are hitting the exact nerve you came to heal. So how do you access the terms of this covenant when you're down here in the trenches, feeling more like a victim of chaos than a star student? You change the questions you ask. You stop pleading, "Why are you doing this to me?" And you begin a gentle, internal inquiry. What is this situation here to teach me that I ultimately wanted to learn? Or even more powerfully, what quality is this pain forcing me to cultivate that I agreed I needed? That ache of separation, it might be the exact pressure required to forge within you a diamond-like independence. Their infuriating detachment, it could be the perfect mirror showing you where you abandon yourself in seeking validation. You uncover the contract not by remembering a past life scene, but by deciphering the present life lesson. It's reverse engineering your own growth. When you find yourself in the fire, instead of screaming for rescue, get quiet and ask, what clause am I living through right now? The answer often comes not as a voice, but as a sudden peaceful knowing. A memory of a choice, a strange gratitude for the severity of the lesson, because part of you, the biggest part of you, knows its necessity. This transforms the entire journey from a desperate love story you're trying to control into a sacred promise you are honoring. It exchanges anxiety for dignity. You begin to see your twin flame not as someone who is failing you, but as the most courageous faithful partner of all, playing their agreed-upon role to perfection, even when it's thankless, even when it hurts them too, because they love the totality of your soul enough to be the catalyst for its final release. You stop waiting for them to change the script and start respecting the masterpiece you are co-creating, shadows and all. The longing doesn't disappear, but it's cleansed of bitterness. It becomes the homesickness for a reunion you have both been walking toward from different directions all along. And the beautiful, funny thing is, the moment you truly embrace this perspective, that you are both loyal servants to a love bigger than your personal comfort, the contract's harshest clauses often begin to soften. The universe isn't rigid, it's intelligent. When you demonstrate you've learned the core lesson of a module, the test often changes. It's like you finally understand the principle behind the math problem, so you don't need to do 100 more of them. The separation starts to serve its purpose and loses its sting. The mirrors show you light as well as shadow, because you're not fighting the process anymore. You're in flow with it. You're cooperating with your own deepest plan. And from that place of surrendered cooperation, where you see the divine purpose in every step, you become ready, not just for union, but for the reason the union was destined, the shared mission that all this tumultuous, glorious preparation was ever really for.